Happy Thursday, Sooner Nation. Welcome to the Sooner Surge on a Thursday night live. As always, appreciate everyone that's on here. As we get started, I do want you to check out the Fanstop at fanstop.com. There's a couple things to note. You have the National Championship officially licensed shirts. You also can join the Shirt of the Month Club. You're going to want to do that. Use code SURGE. You can get 10% off the Shirt of the Month Club, first 3 months. And you won't be disappointed. We've seen previews of the next couple months' shirts, and they are elite. So get on board with that. I'm going to say this before we even get started, Hunter. This is not a politic channel. We're not here to talk politics. We're not going to talk politics. And we're not going to show comments that talk politics. If you want to talk politics, go elsewhere. The Sooner Surge will not be participating in any of it. Just not going to do it. Let's talk sports.
Yeah, not much news today. I think that was well said, though, Jerem, but not much news today for Oklahoma football, softball. Kind of a quiet news day. I think the most amount of news is something you don't want to talk about in football, and that's NCAA ratings coming out.
Who cares?
Yeah, I knew that would be your response. That's why I brought it up.
I don't care what OU's ranking is on a college football game. Hey, we can talk. I mean, obviously, each day that goes by is another day closer to July 1st, which is when OU is officially in the SEC. And what's that going to change between now and then? Nothing really. Nothing really. It's just OU's officially going to be a member. I try to throw when I'm passionate about something, you'll get a rant, okay? So that means every day during football season, there's going to be some of those.
Yeah, Greg, I think a lot of there were some ratings in that list that they dropped that I feel like it was just kind of to get a little bit of an engagement on social media, like Colorado, a top 10 offense, really. The only way you could justify that is if quarterback rating is what matters the most in determining an offensive rating.
And I knew this would be thrown on here tonight, and I'm fine to talk some of it, but it's an absolute joke. Is it cool? Yeah, it's cool. It's cool for the family. It's cool for him. It's cool for his dad. It's ridiculous, though, that's who they drafted. I mean, that's the only – I don't even want to talk about it because, one, I can't send the Lakers. I'm actually glad they drafted that. I don't know if they got any better because of that draft.
What was a better option at 55 there? I mean, seriously.
I don't know, Hunter. I don't know.
That's part of it. I mean, it's a player that it's a cool story across the board. You can't blame them for really doing it. It's not like they wasted a first-round pick on Bronny. They drafted him 55th overall. He's not going to be on a two-way contract. He's probably not going to play a lot of minutes. I think it's kind of the same thing with Giannis, with his brothers on the Bucks. I mean, it's seriously I think a pretty fair comparison between the two of them.
That's not even close, Hunter.
You're telling me that Giannis and Antetokounmpo. No,
Hunter, you yourself said this guy was a 5-star talent out of high school. This guy can play ball. Those guys were not 5-star elite talent.
Well, they were overseas players. They don't have ratings in that aspect.
Hey, NCAA 25. I promise you, I won't be playing in a tournament. My son might. He might be all right, but I don't partake in that. Hunter, I know you're going to be all over Sooner Surge NCAA Football 25 tournament.
I pre-ordered the game yesterday, so July 16th, maybe 15th, from what the PlayStation Store was saying, but excited for that game. Waited a long time for it.
Thunder need to package something together and get a big man. Maybe they do by the trade deadline next year.
I think I would be shocked if OKC doesn't sign a big man in free agency. I don't think that they would wait all the way to the trade deadline.
Galpo's is in for a tournament.
Yeah, let's do it. Dynasty or something. I would rather a dynasty than tournament, but that's just me.
Hunter, what if tonight and I know I'm just throwing this on you because it just came to my head, but that's all right. What if we throw some things out there and you say pass or take? According to OU football, viewers can drop it in the comments, okay? And all we simply will say is pass or take. There is one question about softball here. Kelly, appreciate you being on the live tonight. Do we have any ideas what other pitches? Yeah, not many. I will say, any coach that has changed or they've lost a coach, there is the 30-day window. I saw Justin McLeod put that out. There's a 30-day window, but even then, Hunter, there's not really any pitches I think that OU's gonna go after outside of Kennedy.
I think the two most notable pitchers are ones that you just mentioned from Louisiana entering the portal because of the coaching change. Their head coach, now the head coach at Texas Tech, would imagine that they kind of follow suit and go to Texas Tech. Though I think those are the two best options right now in the portal. There might be a few others, but I think Isabella Smith was a top option in the portal at the time, and Oklahoma landed her yesterday. She committed. So, in my opinion, I think it's kind of Kennedy or bust for Oklahoma. That's
Mark
really,
agrees with you.
yeah, that's really my thoughts on it, because I went back today and looked at roster sizes. I know there was a few comments on a video we put out this morning over roster sizes, and the only year that Oklahoma had over 21 players on the roster was 2021, the year following COVID, where you had all the COVID rules where there's players getting additional years of eligibility. Oklahoma had 23 players on that team. Other years, it was 20. There was 21 in 2024, but 2022, 2023, I believe even 2020, there was 20 players on the roster. So that's kind of the way I would imagine Patty Gasso building the roster again is you go to 21 if you can land Najari Kennedy. Kind of saw it last year with they were at 20, and then Kelly Maxwell's in the portal. They land Kelly Maxwell, they go to 21. I would kind of imagine that to be the same route for this year.
Yeah, I'm going to say something first. Dave, thanks for the super donation. Appreciate you so much. Chester said he went through the softball videos and noticed they're getting more views. And here's what I'm going to say on that, Chester. One, yes, it is not really in football season. But also, and look, I think here at the Sooner Surge, we've tried to be covering of all sports. We covered a lot of basketball, didn't get a lot of views. We've done some baseball stuff. Softball has just, the fan base has grown. And I also say there's just not a lot of people that cover it a lot. Okay. Football, everyone covers football. We've tried to be fair across the board in a lot of sports. And I'm hoping that views will pick up even during football season. We appreciate everyone that's on here every single night. Out of the 3-0 lineman, Hunter, I'm saying Fasusi is who OU gets.
Stars, I think that's probably the best chance for Oklahoma is Fasusi with you see a teammate, close friend in Sean Hutton yesterday committing as a PWO, kind of the momentum that they built after the previous visit for Fasusi. I think of the three, that's the one. But Lamont Rogers, as well, as Bobby says, is another good option. I don't think Ty Haywood, that there's any chance he would be at OU. But
yeah, Bobby also says Rogers and Hutton are also very close. It'd be nice if you get both of them, Rogers and Fasusi. Mark asked about, is Ohio State the first to start super team? If you remember, a few years back, Bama brought Mike Stoops on. Do you remember that, Hunter?
Bama's always kind of done it with the way that they've used analysts in the past. They've brought in coaches that were former coordinators, even former head coaches as analysts. Now that there's the rule changes to the analyst role for a coaching staff, I think you're going to see more programs start to go that way. I think it's a good route to go. I mean, people hate Mike Stoops, his coaching abilities, but he could recruit. I mean, that's pretty noted. He could recruit, and I think in an analyst role, even with the restrictions there are on recruiting, that somebody like that that's very relational is a benefit to have on your staff.
Yeah, and hey, I'm going to answer your question with 2 words, Sooner fan. I can't explain it. Obviously, there's a lot of things that go into it. I don't know the ins and outs financially of the university, so I don't even want to attempt that. And I will never, ever, 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 ever apologize for covering softball.
Ever, Joe? I mean, I don't know if you said it
Never.
enough.
Hey, I don't apologize for much. Okay, ask my wife. She probably wish I did more, especially for yelling in this room every single night. But I don't.
Hey, real quick, Matt. This is not a Taco Bell hat. Lee Valley Iron Pigs, minor league affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Hey,
Found it for $10 from their team store, so it was one I had to pick up.
technically, I can't is 2 words. It is 3 if you're going to use the contraction. I do teach English, so I like what you're thinking there, Baum. Appreciate that grammatical thing. Is it true, though? Listen, again, can't comment on it because I don't know how true it actually is. Look, if they are in debt, would they be building more things?
It's every university, though. I don't know why this is, as Bobby said, a satire page. I saw a lot of people across X, across Facebook, talking about that whole deal. I don't get why that's. I guess it's June and there's nothing to talk about, so we're going to talk about colleges in debt, which every college is.
Look at this comment. What's funny, Mark, is Jay, about 2 weeks ago when I said I kind of like the yell leader stuff, I wish OU did more of that. I basically got lambasted on here. And then the next day, Jay sent me a meme of an A&M yell leader acting like it was me. Okay, first off, yeah, I'm not. But, yeah, Hunter has the NIL with Taco Bell.
Hey, I send enough money to OU in terms of going to school there. So,
hey, Hunter, let's do this. Pass or take, okay? You can ask them, viewers, you can ask them, but I'll start one. This is just for Hunter because I love to. I gotta push some buttons a little, Hunter. Get ready for it, Hunter. You ready? Viewers, pass or take. Pass on it or take it. Yeah, Jackson Arnold throws for more yards this year than Dylan Gabriel did last year.
That's what, 3,600 yards?
Correct.
I'm going to pass. I think with the schedule, kind of a slower tempo in offense, going to be more run heavy than in years past. I would imagine with Seth Luttrell, I don't think he gets to 3,600. I think maybe 3,200, 3,300, but I don't think he gets over that 3,600 mark.
Okay. A lot of people are saying passes, a few takes, more passes than takes on that one.
Yeah, there's a lot more. And Teresa, I have a bag of like 20. So there's about 20 hats in my rotation right now.
Tyler says 4,200. Here's another one for you guys. Pass or take? Brennan Thompson gets more receptions than Petaway.
Again, going to pass on that one.
I'm taking that one too.
Yeah, you just keep giving these ones that you're going to take. I think he's going to have probably 20 or so receptions. Brennan Thompson, that is, over the year.
So you're looking at 1 to 2 catches a game for Brennan Thompson.
Yes, and I think it's going to be the chunk plays. You saw it last year.
I agree.
Where it's a big gang of 40 to 50 yards, and then he's kind of not as utilized the rest of the game.
But here's why I'm taking it. I think that, yeah, if they're both 0, then it's a wash. But I'm taking that. I think Brennan Thompson's actually going to get on the field more than Petaway. Unless Petaway takes over Farouk's backup role or slot area. I mean, now early on, if Burks is suspended, maybe he shines in a game. If Burks is suspended, they're like, we got to get this guy on the field. But I don't know.
The receiver rotation this year is going to be interesting. You mentioned Burks, Farouk is back, Nick Anderson, Jaden Gibson. I mean, there's really only going to be, Andrell Anthony back at some point earlier in the season.
Hopefully first game.
Yeah, that would be the goal for Oklahoma. But there's so many receivers on the roster. Where are they all going to fit in? I'm not sure yet.
Listen, wide receivers do have to block. We'll see in this scheme how much it is, but I don't think we're in a world of football where receivers don't have and shouldn't have the ability to block with everything that's happening. Monty says you're too young, Hunter, but Oklahoma City 89ers were the Phillies AAA team. Yeah.
I actually did not know that they were a former Phillies affiliate, but 89ers being back partially for Oklahoma City. Now they're the baseball team because they're kind of rebranding with the whole Dodgers, but they brought back the 89ers. Those are some sweet looking uniforms and hats that they have this year.
Here you go, Hunter. Pass or take. Schmidt will be the kicker. The first kicker that trots out on the field this year.
I'm going to go take.
I'm taking it too. As much as I hate to say it, Hunter.
Until I see something different, I think Zach Schmidt is going to be the kicker at OU. Maybe it takes a few missed kicks to change that, but I thought there was times last year where that could have been changed and it wasn't. So why would that change this year?
Yeah, I mean.
And Keltner missed a kick in the spring game, correct?
Correct.
How far? I think it was, a 44-yarder? 45?
Yeah, I don't know if they'll go with Evans. I don't know if they'll go with the true freshman.
I think Keltner would be the better option, or the more likely option, for the kicking position. But again, I think it's going to be Zach Schmidt week 1. I would be kind of surprised if it wasn't.
Now, didn't Plaster leave?
Plaster's a punter, but I believe he's still at OU. I mean,
but I was thinking he left. Did he not leave? I was thinking, obviously he's a punter, but I'm just saying while we were on the special teams there. Everyone is saying pass on Schmidt, but I think that's personal opinion. I mean, that's what they want. They're picking by heart. I would say pass, but I'm not going to say it.
I think if the question was, do I think Zach Schmidt should be the kicker that is the first to go out there, it would probably be pass. But
correct. Do I want him out there? No. I want someone like off of replacements, right? Just someone who's got some. And you know who had that, Hunter? Not that he was the guy off replacements, but kind of had that arrogance and swag when he walked out in the field. It was Gabe Burkich until the burrito incident. Gabe Burkich, dude, when he first came on campus, he was it in the kicking game. He was like the dude from replacements. I wanted to say, ole, 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 every time he trotted out there. That's the type of guy you need out there.
Yep, he was a really good kicker until the whole video deal happened.
Isn't he with Green Bay still?
I don't believe he's on a roster. I can pull it up.
I know he was. I don't know. Matt says Kathy Ireland. Does that coach have any eligibility? What are they referring to? I don't know, Hunter. Let me give you another pass or take here. If you guys want to keep going, I got plenty more in my brain that I've just kind of been thinking about each night as it gets closer to football season. Yeah, I agree, Mark. The Boomer guy, his name, everything about it. Why is he not in Norman? I do not understand that. Absolutely correct. He should be in Norman. What?
50-yarder that he made against OU in that game?
He made like 3 50-yarders.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah. Pass or take, Hunter. Jaron Kanek will not play significant time this year at OU.
What do you mean by significant? Like what percentage of snaps?
Jaron Kanek will not play 35% of snaps.
Pass.
Okay,
I think
I passed too. I think he'll play more than that.
yes, I think he will rotate in. Now 55%, I don't know about that, but I think he would rotate in well over 35% of the time.
Afalava commits tomorrow, according to Bobby.
Correct.
Coaches had a kicking contest in the spring game. I did not see that. How did I miss that? I was there live.
That was, I'm trying to remember who it was. If somebody could remind me, Joe John was in it. I think it was the coordinators, Joe John and Zach Alley.
Zach Alley. I remember the punting competition. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember. One of them did really bad. I cannot remember who it was, but one
Here we
of them,
go.
we would not be a punter at OU.
One of the weaknesses last year from this team, Hunter, was on the edge, coming off the edge. OU did not put near as many sacks, did not get the quarterback near as many times as they wanted. Obviously, the Texas game was the best game of the year with quarterback pressure and quarterback hits and hurries. I'm going to put the number at 10, Hunter. 10 sacks on the year, pass or take, from the edge unit.
From the edge unit alone.
Yes.
I mean, Ethan Downs had, 5 last year?
And that was about it.
I think that's a take. I think Ethan Downs is going to
I'm taking over 10.
I think Ethan Downs is going to have at least 5, at least what he had a year ago. And then
PJ's going to have 3, I would think.
PJ, year 2 for him. I think he's going to be a lot better than he was a year ago. Or Mason Thomas, hopefully for OU's sake, healthy. Unlike last year where he was banged up early on and trying to get his way back into the rotation, but just a lot more depth there. You also have Caden Woolard. That's not a name that's mentioned a whole lot in that edge group. So I think they will have at least 10.
Yeah, and hey, people are talking about PJ Adebawore on here. This is it. It's time. It's PJ's time. He's going – if he doesn't get an opportunity, I don't know what's happened. He should get an opportunity. There has been so much hype around him. He hasn't played much. He's got the physical presence. He's got the wingspan to play the edge. He's quick off the ball. It's time. And the other guy it's time for, and I expect it, is our Mason Thomas. Those two guys should have a good season. You have fun as well, Chester. Thanks for always being on here. Appreciate you. Yeah, and PJ, Woolard's a guy. Greg God mentions Woolard.
Yeah, PJ last year, I think it was Brent Venables that said, like, how is this guy? Got on the field, didn't really play much more. After that, had a really good game against Tulsa. I think year 2, 5-star defensive lineman. He is going to have a big year. One point they said he was pushing was it 250? Was that
I think he needs to get to 260.
260? I can't remember the exact number that was put out there. It was also the number put out there, and then on the depth chart it wasn't correct. So kind of take that as you will.
And if you lose some to the draft, that's, I think, what you want, Mark, because that means they've had a phenomenal year. Dow Post 83 dropping in a pass take. Here it is. Will Grayson Halton see significant time? Pass or take? By significant, if you mean 50%, I'm going to hesitate a little. I think 40% of snaps. I can't say he's playing 50% of the time.
I agree with you, especially with the addition of
Dominique Williams.
Yeah, I think Grayson Halton should have played a lot more last year.
Agreed.
You will rotate in a good amount, but again, 50% is a lot. I think, again, like we said it with Kanik earlier, 35% as significant. So I would say take there. I think he's going to play 35, 40% of the time, rotate in a fair amount, a very deep interior defensive line room compared to years past. You're also adding in David Stone, Jaden Jackson on top of the experience that you have in that starting rotation. So I think he'll play about 35. If you also count special teams.
I don't.
Okay, but
I don't think he's referring to special teams probably.
If you count special teams, I think that would also play in. I was impressed with him last year. in his ability to get after the punter at his size. So I think he would continue to get that opportunity.
And there's really 6 guys, I think, in the middle that you could play, and he's one of them. Eric has something here, and I'm just going to reverse it a little bit. But before I do that, Mark, I don't think anyone this year is going to put up numbers where they're going straight to the NFL on the edge. So I think they would all come back for another year, me personally. Eric says you can't use 9-3 because that's kind of the number that everyone wants to kind of hinge at and sit at, and that I'm one of those. So I'll just say this: 10-2 or better, pass or take. And I'm going to say 10-2 or better, man, because 9-3 is the number, I think. But I'm going to say 10-2 or better. I'm going to take because I'm banking on the offense being better than advertised.
I think it's a take if Oklahoma beats Texas. If not, pass.
And when you pass, are you saying 8-4? No, you're going to hang on 9-3, aren't you?
Yeah, but that's not an option. Then I guess I would go 8-4 at that point.
And listen, Hunter and viewers, if OU is 8-4, no one can sit here and say, well, this team is close. I don't want to hear it. You've got to get to 9-3 or 10-2. You just have to with what they have coming back.
Yeah, there's a lot of senior leadership. Bobby was talking about it on Doesn't Get One. 2025 is the best chance talk when Oklahoma's losing a ton of leadership on defense, which is correct. Woody Washington, he's going to be gone after his 5th year. Danny Stutzman is going to be gone after 4 years. Billy Bowman, DeJoun Terry, those are the leaders of the defense, all 4 of them being gone, the leaders at their position groups. So a lot to replace in 2025 for Oklahoma, but I think for a lot of people, the expectation is kind of the recruiting classes that they have put together over the last few years are going to start to show in 2025.
Oh, absolutely. And I was just sitting there thinking of the defensive line, how special it could be this year. You just mentioned DeJoun Terry. We never talk about DeJoun Terry. I mean, we're on these lives every single night. DeJoun Terry rarely gets mentioned because of the Dominique Williams, Grayson Halton, Jaden Jackson, David Stone, and we go on and on. But DeJoun Terry, very well, in my opinion, is the anchor there in the middle of that, and he's not talked about enough.
You could make the argument that DeJoun Terry is the best interior defensive lineman in that group. I think you could really make that argument. He has the SEC experience from his year at Tennessee. Last year had a very good year for Oklahoma. Going to be even better this year. There's also Dominic Williams, who's the biggest defensive line transfer that Oklahoma, or not defensive line, just transfer as a whole that Oklahoma has landed in this transfer portal era. Sorry. So
Bobby says you'd lose that argument, Hunter.
I think a lot of it is the SEC experience with DeJoun Terry, the year in Tennessee, sorry.
How many years does Williams have left? He's got 2, correct? Or is he done?
Yeah, he has 2 more years. He had 2 years at TCU. He was a freshman on that national champion runner-up team. So 2 more years of eligibility. If he has a really good year, there's no way he's back for a senior year.
Yeah. Anyone else have a pass or take? I mean, I can throw about 50 more out there. We don't have enough time for 50, but I got plenty right here. But I'll see if some viewers want to drop one in first. I think now he's the guy, Mark. He's the guy. If he has a phenomenal year, he'll bowl, I think. I mean, he's one that I could see going to the NFL. D-line can get drafted very highly, middle interior defensive lineman. If he's going to be highly, highly sought after in the NFL, he's one that could leave.
Yeah, I think that if everything goes to plan for Oklahoma, you're having 3 or more defensive linemen, the entire group, interior and the edge rushers, getting drafted next year.
Here you go. Pass or take, guys. Jackson Arnold will throw a touchdown in his first SEC game before he throws an interception.
I think that's a take.
I'm taking that. Will OU give EPL as the refrigerated Perry a ball on 4th and 1? I'm saying pass.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jerm. I don't think there is a chance that Oklahoma has a package for the bigger body linemen. I think there would have been times where you could have saw it last year, years before. They really haven't. I can't recall a time in which OU's done that. Can you, Jerm?
No.
I mean,
No.
I can name you times that it's happened against OU. Baylor in 2015, can't remember the name. They did it quite a bit. A few other teams have done it. Texas did
I'd
it
love
last.
to see it.
Texas did it last year, and Oklahoma
Texas
stopped
sweat.
4 times. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, one thing I want to say with Eric says you're losing studs on all 3 levels of the defense. This is why. And really, I mean, yeah, if you lose Terry, because you will, Stutzman, Bowman, straight through the center of the defense. I do think, however, this is why OU's got to play 5 or 6 at linebacker, 5 or 6 at D-line, 5 or 6 in the secondary. That's how you build a program in the future, and you stack the depth. That's competitive depth. We were told that last year. We didn't really see it as much as I think we wanted to. That competitive depth has to be there this year. It's got to happen. So,
Yeah, it has to happen. It absolutely has to happen this year in the SEC. You have to be able to rotate guys in to give your starters rest and also be able to have productivity out of those bench players.
how about this one? OU will have 7 or more TDs over 60 yards. With Arnold's deep ball ability, with the receivers they have, I'm taking that.
I'm going to pass.
I'm taking that. O-line comes together and plays better than expected. I'm taking that because that seems to always be. When it's expected to be elite, they underperform. When it's expected to not be very good and be trash, they do better. So I'm gonna take that. And same what Eric said. When the bar's set low, OU outperforms that bar. Goes above the bar.
Yeah, I think this is, at least in the last few years, the lowest expectations people have had for the OU offensive line. So I don't think it's that hard for them to exceed expectations. And then, as Bobby mentions, Bill Bedenbaugh is still offensive line coach for Oklahoma.
Yeah. Hey, last one here. Pass or take. Kennedy as a Sooner by Sunday.
Pass. I'm
taking.
I know you are, Jerm, but I've said it repeatedly. Would be absolutely shocked if it's anytime soon. I think it's going to drag out quite a bit.
Listen, guys, that was on the fly, and we appreciate it because you guys participated really well. Maybe it's something we can do more of, especially as we get closer to the season, because everyone has questions, and that's a good way to pose a question and get immediate feedback. Thank you, everybody, for being on here tonight. Again, check out the Fan Stop. Check out the links to the Discord. Being a Sooner Surge Unlimited member, we appreciate all the support. I put a community post out last night to all of our great subscribers, and I didn't do that for any other reason except to say thank you to you all. We appreciate you watching. Hit the like, subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great Friday.